Hey guys, Crypto Sunday, and we're back to lovely green weeks. Bitcoin broke the 100,000 mark a couple of times this week, has sort of pulled back slightly today, but is sort of certainly hovering around it and sort of potentially going to make a run for it again. I think we need to probably sort of break through it with a fair bit of momentum. There's obviously a lot of sell pressure at the 100,000. People like it as a nice round number. And if you've been sort of holding a long while, similar to me, really, you sort of think 100,000, nice point to take a bit off. So, as many bullish people as there are still a lot of sellers. So it was always going to be a tough nut to crack. But yeah, if we sort of stick around here for a few more weeks, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But let's see where we go. So let's have a look at some of the news. So you had this week's coin shares report, and it was sort of a bit lower than expected, or a bit lower than certainly the previous few weeks. We knew it was going to be a little bit low from the inflows last week, but we had 270 million of inflows. This has sort of been helped by Ethereum, sort of first negative week for Bitcoin in a number of months, really. And yeah, we had 457 million outflow of Bitcoin, but 634 million inflow into Ethereum. So that sort of bumped up the numbers quite a bit. 16 million out of the multi-asset fund, so people selling out of those, selling out of Solana as well. And then, of course, the enormous rise that we saw last week in XRP, 95 million into XRP products. So I'm guessing this is mostly Europe, and yeah, it's sort of been somewhat backed up, I guess, by actual flows from, you would presume, institutions. But 95 million is still not obviously a massive amount as far as AUM goes. It's, well, 20% of over 20% of the AUM, so it's a big number. And then some small inflows into Litecoin, Cardano, people shorting Bitcoin, obviously, a little bit into Chainlink, and then 15 million into others. So yeah, guessing again this is the Europe ones. People still sort of getting more and more bullish on altcoins. Europe has like Aptos ETFs and all sorts of smaller coin ETFs. By country, it's sort of a mixed bag again. Australia positive, Brazil and Canada negative, Hong Kong quite positive, 38 million, Germany a little bit positive, and then Sweden and Switzerland quite a bit negative, but not huge numbers, so nothing really to worry about there. We know this week is going to be much better on the ETFs. We've had quite a fair bit into the Bitcoin ETFs, certainly sort of BlackRock heading up that charge. We had 353 million on Monday, 600, 500, 700, and then a 370 million on Friday. So, as I say, Fidelity sort of getting a bit of this assets, not all that much, and sort of the emotional investors, as I call them, ARK, still selling out on the sort of slightly weak days, 93 million outflow. So yeah, that gives ARK a negative net outflow for the week, and yeah, Bitcoin, BlackRock as a hugely positive. So I think Cathie Wood needs to talk to her buyers. And on the Ethereum side, I noted that on Friday, the previous Friday, we had a reasonable inflow into BlackRock, and that has sort of continued, getting, double figure and three figure inflows, certainly into BlackRock, and sort of one day into Fidelity. So yeah, sort of 20 million on the Monday, but 130, 167, and then a 428 million inflow. That's sort of the biggest since pretty much since they launched, I think, and 83 million into on Friday. So yeah, still sort of some inflows here and there from the smaller funds. BlackRock and Fidelity are mostly inflow every day. still getting outflow out of Grayscale. They've, obviously started with 9.2 billion, and they've had 3.46 billion of outflows. 480 million into their new low fee product. So net, it's not quite so bad, but they'll still be loving the higher sort of total assets, I would have thought. So this is fairly late and not a coin that I hold anymore, of course. I sold my stake in XRP much lower than where it is now. So maybe I'm a little biased because that wasn't the best move. But I thought it worth covering the Masari report for Q3 for XRP. A lot of fans, I suppose, will say that things have maybe got a lot better since then, and the election has sort of spurred life into XRP, and that's why the price has gone up. But yeah, certainly leading up to September, I thought the metrics certainly don't justify this current price, and the idea that it would have dramatically shot up since the election to sort of cause this price rally, I'm not really convinced. Circulating market cap was 34 billion at the end of Q3, so the end of September, which was just over 2 months ago. They're now at I think 160 billion, 150 billion. They sort of topped Solana, and if you look on fully diluted market cap weighted basis, then they're at sort of 260 billion. So not all that far from Ethereum, and that seems a little bit crazy. You look at sort of daily active addresses, it's been declining since last year, certainly 28,000, down to 28,000 from 44,000. Daily transactions down to 1.7 million, sort of peaked in Q1, sort of dropped to in Q2, and then has picked up a little, but 1.7 million is not huge. If you sort of think of daily active addresses, so this isn't necessarily people trading or buying or whatever. This can just be like signing a transaction for free, logging into your wallets and that sort of thing. That counts as a daily active user. And sort of again comparing to Solana, I think they're at sort of millions in daily active addresses. I think it was sort of 2.5 million daily active addresses and sort of 1.5 million in fee payers, so people actually doing a paid transaction. I guess people will counter that with saying transactions on the XRP are sort of worth more or more important because Solana has a lot of meme coins and things. But yeah, transactions are transactions, I would say. On the NFT side, I've always sort of said kind of ignore the NFT side because it's not really that sort of chain, I don't think. I think they kind of put the NFTs out there just sort of to say they've got them. But yeah, total NFT transactions down from sort of 48,000, 20,000 in Q1 to 7,500 per day. Obviously, Solana, even the lower amount of NFT sales they have now compared to the peak is still drastically higher than this. So I won't go through all this report. As I say, I sold the position, so it's not really one that I want to be paying too much attention to, but I just thought it was worth highlighting, certainly for any sort of holders, just holding on, price and nothing else. I think it's worth looking into, some of the sort of key metrics, as they call them, fundamentals of the platform, and sort of thinking, whether some of these metrics will be up sort of 5x since September in the last 2 months. If the market cap is up 5x, will daily active addresses be up sort of 5x from here? And transactions, NFT volume is, as I say, possibly less important, but yeah, I wouldn't imagine. It'd be interesting to see the Q4 report and see what has happened, see whether sort of this increase in market cap is worth it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I thought this was kind of funny, kind of tongue-in-cheek from the Financial Times, sort of maybe still being a little bit stubborn, but sort of admitting that they're still being a little bit stubborn. They sort of title this opinion piece, I guess, "Hodlers: An Apology," marking a Bitcoin milestone. So they sort of saying that regular readers of FT Alphaville may have formed the impression that current and former writers are united in skepticism about crypto, and this is correct. Basically, they've sort of said it's a zero-sum game. It doesn't sort of function as a medium of exchange, but it has some, potential as sort of a financial instrument. And they're saying that they stand by every single one of these posts, but with price recently crossing $100,000, a significant number of commenters seem to feel they deserve an apology in the light of our long-standing cynicism. So here it is. We're sorry if at any moment in the past 14 years you chose, based on our coverage, not to buy a thing whose number has gone up. It's nice when your number goes up, and we're very sorry if you misunderstood our crypto cynicism to be a declaration of support for TradFi, because we hate that too. So it's sort of not really an apology, it's a backhanded apology. They're sort of saying, if you used our articles to not buy it, then that's sort of fair enough. Poor choice for you. But they're saying that we don't like sort of TradFi either. So sort of saying we don't like anything and we're just writing opinion pieces, and it's not really an apology. But yeah, and they give the the meme face that they're sort of putting on a brave face, but not really that happy that they've maybe missed out on some gain, even if they don't think it's a genuine technology. And then we have another Trump appointment. So this has been sort of a key one that people have been waiting for. Chairman of the SEC, or chairperson, because we were kind of expecting sort of a few months back, if Trump got in, that maybe Hester Peirce could be sort of taking that role. She sort of indicated that she doesn't really want the chairperson role. Not saying that she wants out. She wants to be sort of doing key work as one of the five commissioners. So they sort of basically saying the chairperson role is sort of a bit of a political position, and she didn't want to get into that. She just wants to be heads down, sort of getting work done. And so they've appointed Paul Atkins, they're calling him a pro-crypto advocate. And yeah, he's sort of saying that he's 66, which is a little bit surprising for sort of him being particularly pro-crypto. He worked in the SEC from 1990 to 94. He was a commissioner under George W. Bush, 2002 to 2008. He's known for being libertarian, pro-market, and sort of basically stamp out sort of crimes and particularly bad scams and things, but otherwise kind of let business get on with business. He sort of stands out for his pro-crypto stance. He's been sort of involved in various crypto-focused things, Digital Chamber of Commerce. He sort of chaired the Token Alliance of the Digital Chamber of Commerce, and advising crypto companies and things. So it looks like fairly positive news. Although you could say when Gary Gensler got in, people were sort of rather excited. He taught we've seen the video. I think we've all seen the video of him at MIT. Teaching a class on crypto. He sort of mentions positive words on projects like Algorand, and sort of says 75% of the cryptos aren't securities, and everyone was sort of saying, like, look, this is a guy who's taught crypto to people, this should be great. And then you sort of get into the role, and the powers that be from up above, maybe you could say that was more the sort of democratic government, but yeah, basically forced him to sort of take a different tact, where maybe Trump and a Republican government will be sort of not putting those those requirements on Mr. Paul Atkins. If he sort of gets to run his own ship, basically, then everyone seems pretty positive. But it does seem Mr. Gensler is sort of wanting to go out swinging, maybe leave a bit of a legacy. We've had sort of comments from John Reed Stark, former head of the SEC Office of Internet Enforcement. He said, Gensler, it looks like this hasn't been sort of 100% confirmed, but he says this is confirmed, that he's promoted 3 of the best, brightest and experienced, most dedicated crypto enforcement lawyers in the SEC ranks to senior executive positions, running the SEC's trial unit and the SEC's crypto unit. So yeah, Stark maybe, Paul Atkins may be sort of pro crypto, but he's going to have potentially aggressive crypto lawyers sort of in the SEC's crypto unit. Whether he's sort of allowed to promote them and have Paul Atkins not be able to do anything about it, it's a little bit unsure. But yeah, he's sort of Gensler seems to be doing that as one of his last acts. Obviously, he's only got about 6 weeks sort of still in office. But yeah, John Reed Stark, the sort of former head of the Office of Internet Enforcement, is sort of saying, basically they won't roll over easily, and Chair Atkins will have a little bit of a turbulent time. But of course, we shrug all of this off, and the whole sort of industry seems to be shrugging all of this off because altcoins are doing really, really well. Looking at the portfolio for the week, we have Bitcoin up 2.26%, so it's done okay, of course. Solana is down, one of the only coins, it is my only coin that's down for the week, 1%. And then Ethereum is sort of having a good week, 6.64%. Chainlink is absolutely smashing it, 38%, but is not the most green. Gala is up 38% also for the week. Quant has sort of been languishing in the lows for quite a while, and that's up 61.5% for the week. So that is my outperformer for this week. Power Ledger up 8%, pretty good. Audius up 16%. VeChain up 45% for the week. ICP up 16%. Basic Attention Token up 5.5%. And Matic up 14%. So it is sort of battle of the altcoins and sort of which one is going to be up the most week by week at the moment. It's pretty strong, and it does seem to have been a good decision not to sell those off. We're sort of considering, taking a tax loss and, potentially definitely saving on some tax for this tax year and selling those off, putting them into something potentially more productive. But yeah, that would have been an awful decision because they are up sort of largely, I would say, 100% or more since that time. So you can't let the tax overrule your investment decisions, I would say. So yeah, interesting. We'll see what happens to Bitcoin and whether it's sort of mirrored by the altcoins, or sort of if altcoins are really doing their thing now. But leave your thoughts in comments below. Let me know if you guys have got any sort of decent performing altcoins, and like and subscribe. See you soon.